Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be talking about the #1 most underused muscle when it comes to sprinting, and we'll start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so the big thing here we're going to talk about is how we can help you in improving your sprinting. Like always, you guys got to get on your game a little bit more. We got to be able to understand exactly what's going on within the correct muscles to train. And at the end of the day, I think there's just not enough focus on strengthening the adductors, right? This big muscle group right here is the adductor magnus, right? We can take a look at all the different muscles. There's a picture there that shows you exactly what everything is here. And so the big thing that we want to be able to understand is that, the adductor, brevis, that's obviously the inside part of the leg, longest, is a little bit of a longer muscle. And then that magnus is this big giant muscle all the way through. Some people will even call it like a fourth hamstring because of how important it is to actually being able to accelerate and also be able to properly decelerate and also be able to really create a lot of force into the ground. And so we're going to be able to go a little bit more in depth into some exercise that will help you out in order to strengthen that adductor magnus. We're able to see a little bit more about when the adductor ends up being active when we're sprinting. And so the first thing that stands out is we're looking at the time here. Right, so the first time is when the foot is kind of coming off of the ground, okay, because this is foot contact, toe off here. So as the foot is kind of going through that toe off and beginning to come forward, there's a lot of activity, in terms of how strong of activation we need within those adductors, and it's very similar to, again, those hamstrings, right? The same type of period, those hamstrings end up being really active, and then when we get into kind of that middle part of the swing phase, as you're driving the knee through, there's not very much action within the hamstrings, not very much action within the adductors, and then when we come back forward, we see those adductors come back on, and really we see a lot of activation within, those hamstrings. So this is an important part of when we want to see the hamstrings active, and it's also a time when we see a lot of hamstring pulls, right? And also a lot of groin pulls. And so we want to be able to, and I think the adductor strength ends up making a big difference when it comes to somebody that has repetitive hamstring injuries, right? If you're overworked within the hamstrings or maybe, have too much stiffness within the hamstrings, a lot of times that could end up showing itself by a lack of activation within the adductors, a lack of proper range of motion through the adductors, and just a wide range of different things that could be, causing that issue within that particular muscle group. So definitely start training those adductor muscles more. I'm going to go over a couple different exercises that I think are very helpful in order to help you in, really strengthening those adductors. So we'll hop into that right now. So it's the inside part of the leg here. It's going to be better to do it with really the leg in motion, but just a general strengthening exercise of the adductors. This is going to be the easiest for you guys to be able to do. Any type of bench, any type of chair. We're just going to go with one foot up, other foot's going to be hanging, and I'm just going to come up and down. There's a lot of different variations we can do here. I could have one foot down and just, if that ends up being a lot, you could just do that with the foot down. It's going to be harder when I go here. We could also go with this foot up kind of attached and just, I could just hold that position or, just go up and down from there. If you feel that in the knee a little bit, then I would say just try to take some of the pressure off of how much you're pushing through the foot, and that should take some of the pressure off of the knee. There are some banded exercises we can do as well. So we'll come over here for that. So I just strapped this up to the rack here. I'm going to be, one foot out in front, and I have this to be able to hold on to support. You don't necessarily have to have that, right? So I'm going to just pull here. This is going to be a little bit easier of an exercise. Just pulling straight forward and then taking a step forward, pulling back behind. All these I'd say do between like 12 or 15 reps, somewhere in there. And then I'm going to go with one hand holding on to the bench here, and I'm just going to work that cycle, right? We saw how this ends up being an important part of the adductor strength, that front side, and then same thing doing the back side, right? So I'm going here, cycling up and through, just working on that adductor strength.
So for this one, all I'm doing is I'm just squeezing this ball, right? Because those adductors, what they really do is they make those legs come inwards, right? And I could do this with a variety of different exercises. You know, this is gonna obviously be one of my favorites with the Nordics, but we could do this with, you know, just doing like a hip bridge with my back up onto a bench, you know, coming up and through, just ways where we can start to activate those adductors and just connect to those a little bit more, right? So I'm really squeezing through my thighs as I'm coming up and down here, working on my hammies simultaneously, right? It's a good little exercise to be able to strengthen the adductors as well. All right, so we could use this. This is a concept you could really use for step-ups, a variety of different things here. And so what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna be stepping off to the side here. I'm stretching my right leg, and I'm actually activating on my left side, and then I'm just pushing right back. So here I'm going through adduction as I'm pushing back off on this left side, and then I'm stretching through my right leg. And I could do this in a variety of different ways, right? I could do like a step up variation where, you know, my right leg's up, stepping down, pulling back up. And so there's a few different ways to be able to create this or recreate this to be able to still strengthen those adductors. That one's gonna be stretching the right, activating through the left, and now I'm just switching. Now I'm stretching through the left, activating through the right. And this is great, just lateral motion. This isn't going to carry over as well into sprinting, but you know, it's another good way to be able to easily access the adductor muscles, similar with the bench. It's going to be something that everybody could have. I don't know how much people have access to like the bands and stuff like that, but yeah, good exercise, be able to help you guys out. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.